Hey, Teddy K here for the Best Buy blog, and in this video review we take a look at the Fitbit Versa 2, Fitbit's latest smartwatch that adds a few extra features including Alexa, Spotify, and an always-on display. The Fitbit Versa 2 carries on much of what came before, so there was the Versa from last year and the Versa Lite earlier this year. So rather than try to change everything about the watch, a lot of what is in the Versa 2 is highly iterative, but there are a couple of key things to take note of. First and foremost is probably the fact that you can actually talk to the watch. So Alexa is built in, and it allows you to query it the same way that you would with a smart speaker, for example. Now, not everything is in there, and the fact that you can't wake it up with an actual, like by talking to it. So for example, if I say Alexa, nothing's gonna happen. And instead you have to hold down the button and then it'll pop up and then you ask for what it is you want to do. There are a number of limitations to how this functionality works, and I think that's an important thing to note. For example, I can control smart home devices through the watch, but I can't necessarily control music that way. So for example, the fact that Spotify now is integrated in the watch through Spotify Connect, which I'm going to get to in a second, for example, I can't tell the watch what to play, if that makes any sense. There is some limited functionality that seems to work with Deezer a little bit, but it's not what you would expect or what you're probably already used to with one of the smart speakers that runs the voice platform. So for that reason, I think it's more based on convenience. You can ask for a forecast, you can ask a question. If there's something you're not sure about, you can always ask. Now, you do need a data connection, so you're going to need Wi-Fi or you're going to need your phone nearby to funnel the data that it's going to need in order to actually talk to the cloud and give you the answer that you're looking for. So for that reason, it's a cool feature, but it's not something that I think is fully polished yet, and hopefully Fitbit can expand on it a little bit and make it a little better. It's not bad, it's neat, but it does need a little bit of work. So I mentioned Spotify earlier too, because I think this is also an important addition that has been added here. And it's Spotify Connect though, so I just want to be clear that this isn't Spotify built into the watch. This is an extension of the Spotify app that runs on the watch. So you have to be running it on your phone, you have to be listening to music on your phone, and really you're controlling playback, and that's about it. Especially if you're a premium subscriber, you can't store any of the music on your watch and listen to it that way. It's a nice addition, but it's not as deep as I would have liked. I would have liked to see more of the app just built in there. If you listen to Google Play Music or Amazon Music or even Apple Music, you're not going to get any of that kind of integration in there. Right now, it's mainly Spotify and Deezer. Now, on top of all that stuff, this is a smartwatch, so there's an activity tracker built in, which does a lot of the same things that the previous models did too. It's not that Fitbit necessarily changed anything here. It's not like the heart rate monitor is different or the activity tracking is different. I'm going to get to Fitbit Premium in a second because I think that is a big part of this story. The always-on display, so the watch has a different screen. So it was LCD before, it's AMOLED now. You get deeper blacks, better colors, and also it helps with the battery lasting a little longer. So the always-on display would not have worked very well with an LCD screen because it just would have killed the battery. But with an AMOLED screen, you can get a little bit better battery life. So on average, I mean, Fitbit rates it at about 5 days. If you're not doing too much with the watch, I think 2 or 3 days is more realistic, especially if you're using the always-on display. Now that being said, the activity tracking, I think, has 2 components to it. So there is what the watch does itself, but there is also the fact that Fitbit Premium coincides with the launch of the watch. So Premium is a subscription-based service. You can try it out at first, but it's a subscription-based service where you will get kind of guided workouts. You'll get a sleep score from 0 to 100 to get a better idea of, what the quality of the sleep that you're getting. So you're not just kind of looking at a squiggly line on a graph. You're going to try and get at least some kind of insight and context into what's going on, and that permeates sort of throughout the platform. So you can pick and choose different workouts, and then they can then sync over to the watch so that you can use them that way as well. It is a pretty cool implementation, and it's early, so I can see this thing getting better. But for the time being, I think there is a difference between targeting it for people who have conditions like diabetes or other health-related issues, and those who have musculoskeletal chronic issues. So, for example, if you have arthritis or you have torn labrums or tendonitis, those types of issues that are debilitating in their own way, I don't know that there are really workouts that are tailored for that. I mean, I asked Fitbit about this, and they haven't gotten to the point yet where they can tailor a workout so that it avoids exercises that might actually aggravate an injury. So, for example, you have a torn labrum in a hip, doing lunges is not a good idea. That's an exercise you should probably avoid. So, Premium is not smart enough yet to know that and to change workouts so that it can accommodate those sorts of things. I just think that's important to note because it has more to do with the platform as opposed to the watch, because the platform can work. So you can use Fitbit Premium on a Versa or Versa Lite or even one of the other trackers if you want. You can do that. Even the Ionic, I mean, same thing. You can use the platform on those devices, and the tracking is not necessarily different either way. So you're getting this watch more so because it offers a few new features. The battery life's not bad, and it feels comfortable. I mean, the same straps that work for the Versa or Versa Lite will work on here. So if you bought straps for those watches, you can use them on here also. The Alexa thing, I think, is a matter of preference. If you really want that feature in there, it's there and you can use it. I imagine it will get better over time, but we'll see. I think for you to consider the Versa 2, you're coming from a device that was not a Versa. So for example, if you have a Versa or Versa Lite, you don't necessarily have to upgrade to this. The activity tracking, which I think is the most crucial part of the device, is pretty much the same. It's those extra features, like maybe you want the always on display, you don't have to, you don't want to keep flicking your wrist to see what the time is. If you want those features, then yes, you can upgrade. But I think it's a bigger deal if you're upgrading from a Charge 3 or one of the actual fitness bands, and then you're moving up to a smartwatch like this. That, I think, is the bigger difference, and I think that kind of a shift makes more sense in this regard. So that being said, it's a great watch. I fully enjoy it. I think it's a work in progress based on the services that are also available on the watch. And the app integration still needs a lot of work too. But for the most part, if you're looking for a smartwatch that's going to do the basics and you're not looking for everything, this is a good one to go. And especially if you're an Android user, this is one of the best options for you. And that's my review of the Fitbit Versa 2. For the Best Buy blog, I'm Teddy K. Thanks for watching.